Welcome everybody from Shenzhen. Behind me you see a new developed mall. Let's have a look. This is K11. So that's a huge shopping mall. And if you think that this is busy, no it's not. It's been much more crowded during the weekend. By the way, if you look across here, you can see the land on the other side is Hong Kong. And then you also have this part which is already a little bit older, and these are brand new residential towers. So this is one of the more posh districts in China in general, but here in Shenzhen too. And what I want to do is now talk a little bit about some recent observations of my trip here in China. So I've been now a couple of weeks in China, and this trip is really feeling a little bit different than previous trips, to be honest. And one thing is about how China's position is in the world right now. I would say we all heard about the trade war and the tariffs, right? And this place possibly reflecting a little bit how China feels about it. I've been speaking to business owners, I've been speaking to people just on the street, and also investors, and just observed like people here, how they're shopping, and how they feel and so on. And I would say generally there's really not much uncertainty or fear around this whole trade war situation type of thing. In fact, my personal observation compared to my last 3 to 4 visits that I've done since the reopening of China, so going back all the way till 2023, I have to say it's the most lively China that I've seen since then. And I would say I feel that the animal spirits are back in town here. So there is certainly much more growth and faster pace now, and a more vivid consumer than it has been ever before in the last 3 years here in China. It has never been as bad, I think, as the media suggested, in terms of whenever I came back to China, it was always like feeling much better than the news media would suggest to us. But this time I get a special feeling here, which is more like of a we wanna achieve things, we wanna really go out and show things to the world. So this morning we actually met a local entrepreneur here who said, like, we're waking up in a new age now, and it's now China it's going out who want to bring their products into the world and really want to explore the world with their new brands. Cars are just one piece of that, right? And I think what we've seen at the auto show is not that much of new innovation in terms of the product innovation. It was much more subtle this time compared to how it looked like when we've been coming back after the pandemic in 2023, when everybody was really surprised on how China has developed and how the car industry has evolved here during the time where nobody was coming here. And now more people can actually see that as well. Like I noticed way more foreigners here, and on top of that, like really the Chinese consumer going out spending, and also really the entrepreneurs coming back with new business ideas and investments and such. So you can really feel that on the ground here, and nobody is telling me that their business is really impacted by the tariffs so far, which could be wrong, which could be off. Maybe we still need some time to see that coming through, but here what you feel more is more of a nationalism, of a consumer pride, of people really buying their local stuff, and people enjoying their lives. They have a new lifestyle developed after COVID, something that I suggested and hinted in my first visits after COVID, when I said, they're not it's not that they stopped buying, but they are buying differently. And you see more involvement of lifestyle, sports, nature, arts, creativity, that sort of thing, and is expressing themselves in that direction, where mostly Chinese brands actually are capturing those new really experiences and products and value chains along with that. I think some of the Western brands are still missing out on those trends, but especially in a young modern city like Shenzhen. I mean, look around here, like this is all brand new. It seems. I mean, obviously now it's also the nighttime, and especially this part is really newly developed, but you know, that's why I'm making the video here, because it's really embodying this new China that I witnessed now, especially during this trip. And tomorrow actually I'm going hop over to Hong Kong, which I think I will see a very different picture. Whenever I go to Hong Kong, it's really feeling like a step back in time, in a charming way, right? I love the character that the city has, but it's not got this modernity. It doesn't have the vibe that you're getting here. And I really have to say, not only about these days now where tourists have been flocking here into the city, where it was really packed, like you couldn't step a foot outside here, and people have been shopping like crazy and eating out and enjoying themselves. It's not only that, right, but it's also the pace of technology, the adoption of digital payments and stuff and services connected to that. It's a whole lot different here in Shenzhen than it is actually over there in Hong Kong. So just a couple of meters, and actually really showing the differences which we might see reflected between the West and China if the West doesn't catch up on in some ways here. But China's certainly not stopping. That's my impression that I'm getting. But maybe some hope. I don't want to play this West versus China game here. I think what we've seen also on the auto show is that some of the Western car makers are really trying, like the Germans. They're investing a lot and are coming out with new stuff, and they're getting more and more Chinese, right? Their slogans are in China for China and all of that, those marketing type of slogans. But it's true, they see it as a very important market and they want to stay in there, and they think they have to localize. And some of them are, they're now bringing out the products that will come out in a couple of months. I'm skeptical on most of them, to be honest, but they're clearly trying. And so the Chinese know that they cannot sleep on that, right? They have achieved something, but as I said during the auto show, for example, there wasn't a new leap by the Chinese compared to the Western brands. It's rather the old legacy brands catching up currently. But I think the Chinese brands have now the advantage that the Chinese consumer here is already in another place, right? I'm not sure if the West can simply now start copying China and with that catch up to it. It's possible that the Chinese consumer has moved on, and I think that's why they're not afraid of the US and the trade war and the tariffs. I think that's why the mood here, the sentiment is pretty good locally here on the ground, and that is why, Western brands really need to think of how they can adopt. Anyways, these are some thoughts from on the ground here at this local shopping place. Now I'll go inside and check out this new gigantic mall. Maybe have a look at what's going on here with a little rave. Still some kind of holiday events going on here, but as you can see, like there's not much crowded space currently. This has been very different yesterday. So possibly only the locals hanging out now. This little music show here. And all of the tourists have already left to other places. classy car, an old German car. Even got... Oh no, it's Austrian blade. It's not a German blade. Look at this. That's it. Thanks for watching. Smash a like and see you in my next videos.